Did you give it to everybody?
Yeah, everybody.
One and a half.
Good. I love a template.
No,
Sorry.
she's got a 5-year-old, 3-year-old,
I
and
should have double spaced it, yes.
grandchild. I have almost 1.5-year-old son. This is 4. Her daughter's about 5.
All right. Downtown. That's my baby.
Yeah.
We just adopted 2
And
kittens.
her girls all live in Camden and Lexington and Greenville.
I love all animals, so we just don't have the yard, and I want to be
Frequent.
Come on.
we don't have that huge yard.
We,
He's 100
we
pounds.
try to visit.
We settled for 2 kittens. Smart.
Yeah,
My son wanted a snake, so.
Get together, it's usually 15 of us, you know, if we get together.
Welcome to the January 2025 meeting of the Design Review Board. The purpose of the board is to review applications for certificates of appropriateness for construction, alteration, demolition, and relocation of structures in Aiken's historic districts in an effort to help Aiken retain its historic character. We will begin by reviewing the minutes of the previous DRB meetings. And today we have election of officers after that. And then we will be calling applicants to the podium to speak about their applications. And if you could please start by stating your name and address when you come to the podium, and then explain your proposed project. The board may ask questions for clarification, and the public will be given an opportunity to ask questions as well or make comments. We ask that each person not take longer than 5 minutes so that others may speak. So first, we have approval of the minutes, and actually, I had one revision. I wanted to, on page 2 of the work session for the Design Review Board on December 5th. On the second page, in the second paragraph, it talks about the evaluation for the historic stables, or the Hitchcock stables. And it says, which are historic but listed as non-contributing. They are not listed, so I think that should be struck in the minutes.
Do you need do you need a motion for that? Or are you just asking for that change and then,
That's a good question.
okay. Because, Madam Chair, then I'll make a motion to accept it with the changes that the non-contributing to contributing is not the correct situation. The situation was that it is not designated. It
Correct.
was never non-contributing, and that created a lot of problems through this process. So if we could change it throughout the minutes to reflect that it was not designated, or not evaluated for designation, excuse me, thank you. Not evaluated for, and didn't have a designation. And then I move to adopt the minutes.
Is there a second? All in favor, raise your right hand. Any opposed? No. The motion is passed. Next on the agenda is the election of officers. Is that right?
So you did them together?
Yeah, I did them together. So that was for approval for the work session, the special called work session, yes. Election of officers. So I would like to make a nomination, if that's, I would like to nominate Ben Lott.
I second that motion.
I actually took this position on as a temporary for 6 months, so I'd be happy to hand it over to Ben.
Just to be clear, that's nomination for chairman?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, I second that. Has it already been, oh, it's already been seconded.
individually, correct? Oh, I'm sorry. Can you hear me? We are electing the officials for the board, and I just nominated Ben Lott to take the chairman's place. I was actually in this position as a temporary for 6 months, so I think Ben would be a great addition to, a great leader for our board. And that was seconded by,
It was seconded by me, Ahmad McHale, for the record.
so we can vote. So all in favor, please raise your right hand. Great.
Madam Chairman, I broke the rule. Madam Chairman, I'd like to nominate for Vice Chair John McMichael.
I second that motion.
Okay, if he's willing.
Yes.
So there's a second on the table for John,
I second that motion.
right? So all in favor, raise your right hand. Approved.
Yeah, so now, then we'll,
And then do we vote for secretary?
oh, yes, sorry.
We also vote for secretary, who currently is Rebecca.
Madam Chair, I'd nominate Rebecca Seymour for the position of secretary or staff liaison for the board.
I second that motion. Or nomination.
All in favor, raise your right hand. Motion passed. Okay, so our new board is Chair Ben Lott, Vice Chair John McMichael, and Secretary Rebecca Seymour.
Ben gets to take over.
Hmm?
So Ben gets to take
Yes. Yeah.
If I could note for the record that our new elected officials should begin their positions tonight at this meeting.
Okay.
You
I
want
guess
the-
everyone got the short end of the stick. The ceremonial mallet, thank you.
Ben is the dog that caught the truck.
Yeah, that's right, unfortunately. All right, well, thank you for your vote of confidence. I hope I can live up to the challenge. I guess we were ready to go with the regular, I'm sorry, I've got the mic on, but let me get it closer. It's just not close enough, I'm sorry. Can you hear me now? Yeah, I slid it up a little bit, so, all right. So I think we're ready to start with the regular agenda now. Thank you.
Item B under new business, application number CERH25-026. The board must determine whether a substantial change in circumstances relevant to the application has been demonstrated, and the application may be reviewed again as permitted by zoning ordinance 5.2.3.k. And let's note for the record that board member Law and Corey have recused themselves, and they have both submitted their conflict of interest forms. The applicant is requesting approval to convert a 1972 church building at 433 Whiskey Road into a single-family residence as indicated in the application. To convert the structure into a residence, the following alterations are proposed. Alter the roof pitch. The proposed new roof is Owings Corning True Definition Duration shingles and the color black onyx. Relocate the front entrance doors to the center of the building. The proposed front door will be a 6-foot by 8-foot mahogany Tiffany diamond 7-light double door. The proposed front doors will be arched at the top and stained black. Increase the size of the front porch. The proposed porch is to be concrete with a red brick border and red brick steps. These bricks are proposed to remain unpainted. Replace the existing windows. The proposed new windows are Sierra Pacific H3 windows. These are black aluminum clad 2/2 double hung windows with simulated divided lights. Install black solid wood board and batten shutters with black hardware. Paint all exterior brick and trim Sherwin-Williams alabaster. Add 2 new porches in rear of property. The proposed rear patio French doors are black double doors with a 2x3 window pattern. Construct a new 24-foot by 44-foot, 8-inch, 3-car garage with a living space on the second story. The second-story garage apartment floor plan indicates that the second floor will have dimensions of 33 feet by 24 feet. The previous certificate of appropriateness noted the second floor as having dimensions of 40 feet 5 inches by 24 feet. The garage is proposed to be 24 feet 6 inches in height, with the primary residence having a height of 26 feet. Install 5-inch black aluminum K-style gutters. Construct a new 1x6 scalloped wood panel fence with stucco columns and black metal gates along the Whiskey Road, Chesterfield Street, and left side property lines. Automatic swinging gates will be located on Whiskey Road and Chesterfield Street. The tallest point on the proposed scalloped fencing will reach 5 feet, with the columns being 6 feet. The stucco columns are proposed to be painted Sherwin-Williams alabaster white to match the brick on the house. The wood panels and metal gate are proposed to be painted Sherwin-Williams tricorn black. The site plan indicates that a future stable structure may be proposed. However, as plans have not yet been provided for this potential building, a separate certificate of appropriateness will need to be submitted at a later date if the applicants decide they would like to construct a stable. This is a non-contributing property located in the Historic Overlay District, specifically Historic District 2, and is zoned RSS single-family stable. The Aiken County Assessor's website lists the construction date of the structure as 1994. This property does not have an Aiken Historic Resource Card. This applicant submitted a prior certificate of appropriateness application requesting approval to convert the church into a single-family dwelling. A motion to approve the application failed, with the board voting a draw, 3-3, at the November 5th, 2024 DRB meeting. Therefore, the application was denied. The applicant has now submitted an amended application with additional context information, as is permitted by Zoning Ordinance Section 5.2.3.k. This section states, if an application for a certificate of appropriateness is denied, the application may not be considered by the board again for 1 year unless the applicant can demonstrate to the board a substantial change in circumstances relevant to the application. Therefore, the board must first vote to determine whether the applicant has demonstrated substantial change in circumstances relevant to the application that permits the board to review the new application. If the board determines that substantial change has been demonstrated and the application may be reviewed again, then the board will review the new application and make a determination. The following amendments were made to the proposed application in the new application. The porch roof over the front entrance on the east elevation and the watershed eyebrows over the garage doors are now proposed to be metal standing seam. The applicant is now also requesting approval of a 1x6 scalloped wood panel fence with stucco columns and black metal gates. The proposed new 3-car garage size has decreased. The second story of the proposed garage extends across 2-car bays instead of all 3. This has resulted in a double gable on the west elevation of the garage. This has also reduced the number of dormers on the north elevation from 3 to 2. Additionally, the applicant has submitted various photos of surrounding properties and their gates, roofline heights, fences, etc., in an effort to depict that the proposed renovation is in harmony with the surrounding properties. Zoning Ordinance Section 4.1.4.c states, in the area between the plane of the front of the principal building and any street, no fence or wall shall exceed 4 feet in height except where a higher fence conforming to these regulations exists on a common property line of an adjacent lot, in which case the proposed fence may be no higher than that fence. No fence or wall or any other portion of the lot may exceed 6 feet in height. However, Section 4.1.4.d states that the Design Review Board shall have the authority to permit a fence or wall in a historic district up to a height of 12 feet. The applicant submitted additional information that was added to the record as Exhibit Y in the work session. Hard copies are available outside council chambers. And I believe the applicants are here today.
As you come forward, please state your name and address, and I'd ask you to add any comments that you would like to add in relationship to the change in application only.
Thank you.
Okay.
Scott and Kimberly Goodeth, 433 Whiskey Road. Congratulations.
Thank
It's in
you.
order. It was our understanding we had to demonstrate substantial change in circumstances, and what Rebecca just read currently, the changes with the fence, we added the fence, we added the metal roof, we reduced the size of the garage per the request of the board, and the living space above it. So the footprint of the garage is smaller. And we are open to any questions you may have.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I would like to make a statement if I
Yeah.
could, please, Mr.
Okay.
Chairman. My wife Kimberly and I currently reside in Augusta, Georgia. We've been looking for a new place to call home for numerous years prior to purchasing this property on Whiskey Road. We first saw the property back in March. We immediately recognized the potential to transform this church into a beautiful home, and we moved forward with the process of this purchase. As most in the community would probably agree, the idea of taking an existing church and turning it into a primary residence is a bit of a unique and also a bit challenging process, especially since it's in the heart of the historic district. One of the many things we liked about the prospect of this conversion was the size of the lot, the location, its surrounding historic area, and its proximity to downtown. In addition to significantly shortening my wife's commute to McIntyre Air National Guard Base outside of Columbia on a regular basis. We also knew it would be challenging in keeping with the character and guidelines of the overlay district. It would require the right team, those whose visions aligned with ours, and folks that were very familiar with the surrounding community to help ensure the design and the conversion would be as cohesive as possible. While drawing the plans, I feel the architect and designer gave a great deal of consideration and thought into the size, proportion, and scale of the overall project, and some of the alterations that were necessary to change it from a commercial-looking building into a beautiful, conforming residential property. Per the plans, in addition to resizing and replacing all the windows, exterior doors, painting the exterior brick, we will modify the entire roof line to increase the pitch and overall height of the house from the current one-story commercial building with a 412 pitch roof line to a 1.5 story with an 812 roof pitch, which will help increase the overall appearance of the facade and give it a bit of grandness. And we are super excited to move forward with this project we so passionately refer to as our leap of faith.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
All right. Any questions from the board for the Goodis? No? Okay. I'll ask y'all to sit down for a moment and we'll see if there's any public comment. Anyone in the public would like to comment about the change, if the change in the plans are substantial or not? Okay. Seeing none, I will. Okay. Thank you. Any motion from the board?
Hey, I'd like to make a motion, Chairman, sir.
Please proceed.
On application CER 25-026, pursuant to zoning ordinance 5.2.3, K as in kilo, I move that the board find that the applicant has demonstrated a substantial change in circumstances relevant to the application based upon the findings of the main house, 26 feet, garage height, 24.6. The previous apartment was 46 feet in length. It's now 34.6, which was reduced by 11 feet. I'd also like to add, in reference to the gate now is metal, the columns are stucco, fence is 1x6 wood panels, along with the east elevation, with it being proposed that it is a watershed eyebrow over the garage doors. Also, the big thing was the garage size. But I'll comment on that in a second. But the board should reconsider this application.
A second.
Okay, I have a motion and a second. Any further discussion from the board?
Yeah, I'd like to discuss something, Chairman, if you give me a chance to. Can I? Okay, last time I see Matt back there, from the paper, I love cars. I was obviously one that voted and supported this from the beginning, and I think there has been substantial change, so I am in support of the changes. But it looks good, and from my findings, I asked that substantial changes. The board noticed that substantial changes has occurred with this application as it relevant to our findings.
Any other discussion from the board?
Just one. My grandson wanted to make sure you kept the Christmas tree up for next year.
Okay, thank you. All right, then I'll call for a vote. All in favor? Okay, and all opposed? Seeing none? Yeah, not necessary. So unanimous. Okay. Okay. All right. So now the harder part is to vote on the actual application. You know, so we voted on the fact that we can hear it again. Now that we've got that passed, if you would come back forward to the mic, and let's talk about the merits of your application, please, at this time. And so the chair recognizes Mr. Mithgudit again. Any comments from you two?
Not at this time, thank you.
Okay. All right. Any questions from the board for the Gudiths on the merits of the new application, the revised application?
I had a question about the fencing. I think on the last application, you didn't really have fencing, is that right?
Right.
And my concern, I looked, and I think all of us in this room appreciate what you all are undertaking. Anything is better than the Christian Science reading room that has been there out of complete touch with the neighborhood. My concern is the pictures of all the fencing, the scallop on Whiskey Road, I'm not sure is in harmony with what you see on Whiskey Road. And the secondary concern, although I know it's been grandfathered, Whiskey Road is a nightmare. And I really think we had somewhat that discussion the last time, is entering from South Boundary to Coker Springs, there are no entrances to Whiskey Road from the houses there. And because you have a secondary road behind you, I really think that needs to be dealt with again. And my concern is the fencing, the scalloping of the fencing. You might want to wait and consider what you want to build, given the height of the neighbors and fencing and everything else. I'm not opposed to having a higher fence. I just think that the scallop white along Whiskey Road is not in harmony with what you see as you're driving down Whiskey Road. I agree, and I appreciate all the pictures of the chain link fences. Yes, there needs to be some upgrades, but most of the fence along that area is not like this.
All right, thank you, appreciate that.
Let's let the Gudiths have a chance to respond to that.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Rebecca, can I get you to go to Exhibit 6A, please? Sorry, there's 1,000 exhibits.
Yeah.
You did your homework well.
Thank you. 6A, it's kind of dark to see, but this is our adjoining neighbor. This is Squash Courts, a little clearer there. Squash Courts here on the right. This is Whiskey Road, our property. The arrow's pointing to it. This is a 6-foot chain link fence that runs right up to our property. It has bamboo in the chain link fence, and then it runs into a 9-foot plus, it's a little over 9 foot stucco brick wall that runs most of the distance along the squash courts. The lower, you can see a little bit better picture of the bamboo fence there that runs along Whiskey Road as our adjoining neighbor. And Rebecca, can I bother you to go to Exhibit 9A, please? 9A is on the north side of our property. That large tree there is our property, and that is a 8-foot stucco wall. Thank you, appreciate you. All right, thanks. That is it's 8 foot here. On the other side of our property, it goes up a little bit over 9 feet. But this is a stucco solid wall. So what we're proposing is right where I am standing would be a stucco column, 6 feet, 2 feet shorter than that, with a 1x6 scalloped painted paneled fence going up to the next column. And that would continue all the way up to the previous picture, which is the squash courts at 478 Chesterfield Road. So those two would be adjoining. Our fence would be in between those. So Rebecca, I'm going to ask you to go to another one if you don't mind, please. If you could go to Exhibit 1B. 1B up here top right is directly across the street from us. This is a 6-foot wood panel fence. That's me standing there, so it's right at 6 feet. It's got wood columns, 6x6 wood columns, and it is a dog-eared, 6-foot dog-eared painted fence. There's a little clear picture of it on the bottom. We got all night. I do have other examples of fences along Whiskey Road that,
I'm aware of them. I just don't see scalloped ones on Whiskey Road
no,
and in the shorter area in
right,
proximity.
you do not, that's exactly why we're doing scalloped fence. It's because, as you can see, there's no two fences alike within a 5-mile radius. Nobody has two of the same fences except for chain link.
Just,
And also, the scalloping allows for you to see the house, which has been we've seen previous meetings where you would like to see the house.
a lot of that is on south boundary, is what we discussed before. My concern is this board has taken requests from people along south boundary, Whiskey, that wanted 6 feet because of the problems of the traffic. So there's a difference in my consideration between Whiskey Road, where you're gonna see a lot of traffic, and a lot of the homes have built up 6 feet, if not more, to have some privacy on Whiskey. South Boundary is a different kind of feel,
Sure.
and that's my only.
Are you suggesting we do a 6-foot stucco wall fence? Would that be better?
I'm trying to think of a harmony and make it look like it belongs, and it not standing out. And I just think some kind of privacy might be better than the scallop. I like the design aesthetic of it, not on Whiskey Road. I can see scallop on Chesterfield. I just think that you all would be better served to have something a little more solid along that. Again, it's just because we've been here. Most of them have solid walls.
Yeah, I appreciate your opinion and your input. It comes down to personal preference, really. We've spent an exorbitant amount of time
Absolutely.
designing the front of our house, every aspect of it, including the fence. We want that house to be seen. We're taking great pride in the front elevation of the house, hence the scallop. Rebecca, can I get you to go to 8B, please?
Sir Chairman, can I chime in?
Please.
All right, so I travel Whiskey Road all the time, okay? There's tons of fences. Some of them not well taken care of. I have no issue with the scallop fence as is viewed in the documentation. It actually reminds me of driving down Whiskey Road and you see a shadow box fence that needs staining or delayed maintenance. That wouldn't bother me. I think it'd be a great addition to the neighborhood. And as I stated, I'm in differing of opinions with Ms. Morgan here. Also, point 2, about the entrances and exits to Whiskey, is some wild things that go along Whiskey. It's actually a house in the middle of a curve. I don't know who owns it, but I could clearly remember it says private driveway, and I wonder how they get in and get out their domicile or their yard. It wouldn't bother me. If it doesn't bother you, it doesn't bother me. I understand safety concerns and everything else. I'm quite sure SCDOT and the city engineering department got something figured out. And if you were grandfathered in, I think that you would cross that bridge if it became a problem. But I'm not trying to create potential problems before it actually become a problem. I understand forethought. I understand all this stuff, but sometimes things are just trial and error. You find out you can't get out your front yard and you go out Chesterfield. But once again, it may be a difference of opinions between Ms. Morgan and I, but as the 2 points that she pointed out, I do not agree with, and once again, we're still friends, but that's not a concern of mine.
Okay. Thank you both for your comments and for your response. Other questions from the board at this time? Please. Yeah.
Like I said, the original time that you came to see us, I think trying to make Whiskey Road more pedestrian and residential is a good thing because, the traffic's just going to get worse and worse if we try to, cut it off from the neighborhood. So I also wanted to say again that very appreciative that you're doing this. The house is going to be so much better than what's there now. There's no doubt. The garage, I think, has improved. I think the biggest concern that we had was the view from Chesterfield, because as you walk that street and knowing that Joy Cottage, is your neighbor, you've got great neighbors, really wanted that to not be the thing that faces that street so clearly. But looking at the south elevation, yeah, thank you. The garage really has reduced in scale, and the fact that you have the one dormer, I think that's a great solution, actually, putting them smaller. It makes it more interesting, too. And the whole facade, like you said in the workshop, is going to be board and batten. So and the fact that the porch has come down a little bit, I think is a great improvement. The fact that you're introducing metal for the roofing is good change.
Thank you.
So.
Thank you for your comments too. Anyone else from the board, comments or questions for the Gudis? Okay, well, I've reserved mine to last. So the only comment I had, and I agree with everything Faith said about the changes. I think they're very appropriate. I was concerned or confused a little bit about the columns on the fence. I noticed you specified that you wanted stucco columns in the front of the house, and I was thinking, well, that does match the house to the right, but it really doesn't match your house because you've got painted brick. And I was just wondering, what were your thoughts around that?
Again, like every other aspect, we gave it a great deal of thought. First, we had brick. We had a lot more columns going across the front. We drove around the community, walked around the community. There's umpteen examples of stucco columns with scalloped fences, and either vinyl siding or brick house or some other variation of it. We like the stucco. It adds another texture to it that takes away. The lines are a little cleaner. The surface is smooth. Again, we originally had them brick, and we switched to stucco for aesthetic purposes. We just like adding the metal to the roof over the porch. We're just trying to create texture and character. And
I understand.
we think that accomplishes it.
Okay, thank you. Okay,
And
go ahead.
to clarify, you're painting it black or a dark green? The fence, between the columns?
Yeah, between the columns will be
Tricorn black.
tricorn black.
And the column color will match the house?
Correct.
Okay. Okay. Is that it? All right, well, I'll ask you to sit down and see if there's any public comment. Thank you very much. Anyone in the audience want to speak in favor of this? Please, one at a time, come forward. Okay. Okay. As you approach, I'd ask that you both give your name and address for the record, please.
I'm Betty Ryberg. I live at 245 Berry Road.
Okay.
Billy Sorensen, 400 Mills Avenue, Greenville.
That's a long walk.
I came specifically on behalf of this fine couple this evening.
So since we both lived in that house, 25 years, 23 years, 23 years, I want to just approach one thing. I loved the fact that people could see our house. They couldn't really see that much of it because of the big concrete wall. But I loved the fact. And the fact that we put out decorations on our balcony, and Philly did as well, people commented on it. I don't really love to go to cities where all these beautiful homes are hidden behind walls. I think it takes away from some kind of personality, and I think we have the perfect neighbor here with their personality. Philly and I have both commented we would have loved to have you as our neighbors. But I also want to say, I think that the wall, the way they've projected it, allows this town, the city, to kind of embrace that. And I remember when we moved in, several of the people downtown, they wanted to come and see the house. And I think there is some kind of connection to people that know which way you live. And I think part of that Christmas tree, erecting that Christmas tree, gave us a good sense of how much they want to be part of this community. I will also say that we raised 3 children in that house, and they came in and out the front driveway. And their friends did too, and they're all alive and well in Aiken. I am telling you, it's grandfathered in. Philly smartly closed it up, but getting out and in of that front driveway is up to them. I would guess they'll just come in that way, but whatever. I'm so happy that they've made the changes they've had and that you've seen the changes for what they are. But I'll let Philly speak as neighbor.
I would like to speak to the opening on Whiskey Road. I did that. It is still a functioning open and closed gate, so the access is available if necessary. I am a past owner of this home that we loved for many years, and I want to speak of looking out the window every day and seeing the steeple there. Well, I spoke to Scott on a wonderful afternoon, and he mentioned incorporating that steeple to a part of their garden, and that really resonated to me as keeping it moving forward and very important of who we are in Aiken. And I think this fine couple has the very best interest at heart. They've expressed it. They're genuine. Help them love Aiken and feel welcome in Aiken and be loved. They're trying their ever-loving best to do the right thing, and I think that's very apparent. Their best interest, or on behalf of our city that we loved for so many years. Thank you
very much.
Thank you both for your comments. Okay, anyone else opposed or in favor? Either one. Okay. Seeing none, I'll turn to the board and see if we have a motion from the board.
Mr. Chairman, I'd like to make a motion on application CERH 25-026. I find that the applicants Scott and Kimberly Gudith that are requesting to convert a church into a single-family residence at 433 Whiskey Road, tax map parcel number 105-12-07-001, is in harmony with our design review guidelines. And if you want me to, I can go through if that's necessary.
Not necessary. No.
Okay.
I would just ask that, are you referencing the ones that Ms. Seymour has in the staff memo?
I'm absolutely referencing the ones that Ms. Seymour referenced in the memo and in her presentation. If you're out there, you look, Mr. Gudith, I went through all your changes, all your information. I was exhausted for you. You can actually add that part of the motion that I'm making, but as reflected in the documentation by the lovely Rebecca Seymour.
I'll second that.
Okay. We have a motion and a second for approval. I'd call for any additional discussion from the board. Okay, seeing none, I'd ask for all in favor, raise their right hand. Okay, unanimous and none opposed.
Yeah.
Thank you both.
Mr. Chairman, could I take one more shot at the mic?
Sure, make it quick.
2 minutes. Thank you.
All right, we got a big crowd.
Okay. On November 15th, after waking up numb in disbelief from the results of the first presentation on the 14th, my wife and I's first reaction was to dust off the for sale sign and terminate the entire project. However, we still had a lot of cleanup to do and tarps to mend and replace. We spent hours over there every day trying to get the place in order. In doing so, much to our surprise, we had folks in the neighborhood and the community going out of their way to stop and introduce themselves and to encourage us to push on. We had people honking their horns with thumbs ups as they drove by. We had people calling us, reaching out on social media. Keep in mind, we only knew 2 or 3 people in Aiken prior to our meeting on the 14th. There's one gal here tonight that we had never met. She looked up who the architect was on our project, drove to their office, left a contact number for us to contact her. There's a gal here who just spoke, who we had never met prior to the meeting, that drove 2+ hours to be here tonight. We've received overwhelming amount of support from the community. I want to thank all the folks that reached out and encouraged us. I want to thank everyone that put their plans aside this evening to come in support of us.
Yep.
Thank you. I want to thank the folks from the First Church of Christ Scientists that came tonight in support of us. I want to thank our friends and families who put up with all of our antics for the last 2 months. I want to thank all of those who reached out on social media that were not able to attend tonight, who I am assuming are watching currently. And I want to give a huge thank you to our architect, McDonald Law, and his son, Xander. What an awesome team. They've gone above and beyond to make this whole thing happen. And I want to thank each and every board member that voted in favor tonight. And thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you. All right, Rebecca, can we move to the next agenda item? Yeah, please. Thank you.
Item D, under new business, application number CERH25-027. Applicant LaDonna Armstrong is requesting approval to replace siding at 511 Staubes Lane, tax map parcel 121-30-08-002. The existing wood, board, and batten siding has deteriorated due to water damage and wood rot. The applicant is proposing 6-inch lap fiber cement board siding. Additionally, fiber cement board and batten is proposed in the gable ends above the soffit line. The applicant proposes to paint the siding Benjamin Moore Saybrook Sage and repaint the porch and trim finish in the same Benjamin Moore cloud cover color as existing. This is a contributing property located in the Historic Overlay District, specifically Historic District 2, and is zoned RML multifamily low density. The Aiken County Assessor's website lists the construction date of the structure as 1950. The Aiken Historic Resource Survey card lists the construction date as mid-20th century. I believe Ms. Armstrong is here.
Hey, LaDonna, please give us your name and address for the record.
LaDonna Armstrong, 139 Greenville Street, Northwest.
What would you like to add to this application to further describe it?
Nothing at this time other than we really hope that the planning department develops a process in order to change designation.
We do too.
Property.
Yeah. Okay.
So at this time, we're only asking for the siding to be replaced.
Okay, thank you. Any board members have questions for LaDonna? No?
All right, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Call for public comment. Anyone want to speak about this application? All right, seeing none, I believe we are ready for a motion. Do I have a motion?
Sir Chairman, can I make a motion?
Please.
I find that applicant, LaDonna Armstrong, with application number CERH25-027, with the proposed changes at 511 Staubes Lane, is in harmony with our design review manual, specifically sections that relate to existing buildings, materials, and also and colors. The applicant has selected to use hardy board, which is an approved material, and also, as I stated before, she falls in line in harmony with the color that has been selected.
I'll second that motion.
Okay, have a motion to approve and a second. Do we have any discussion from the board?
My only discussion is we do need to get that procedure, like Ms. Armstrong said. Although I do, contributing potentially, she could get some help financially with the windows, but I just don't think it's worth it. But I hope we will be able to figure out a process that can get homes that clearly can benefit from non-contributing.
Thank you. Any other discussion?
Mr. Chairman, I don't know if you all discussed the fact that the guidelines require a smooth finish on hardy board.
We did not discuss that.
That would be a thing to emphasize.
Do you think we need to add that to the motion or just a comment?
I think as a comment, I think it's in the guide. Yeah.
Okay.
Rather than
Okay.
wood grain, yeah.
All right, thank you for bringing that to our attention. Okay, any other discussion or comments? Hearing none, I'll call for a vote. All in favor, raise your right hand. I see a unanimous vote, so we don't need to call for opposed. The motion passed and the application is approved. Thank you. Madam Chairman, let's move to the next agenda item.
Madam Secretary, I think I need to recuse myself.
Okay, thank you for pointing that out.
Item D, under new business, application number item E under new business. Application number CERD 24-001088. Applicant Cam Scott of Cheatham Fletcher Scott Architects and Designers is requesting approval to construct an addition and renovate an existing structure at 316 and 326 Park Avenue Southwest and 167 Lawrence Street Southwest. Tax map parcels 105-28-07-009, 009, 013, and 014. The applicant is requesting approval to renovate the existing structure at 167 Lawrence Street Southwest for restaurant use and construct a 4-story addition for a new boutique hotel. The existing 2-story structure was previously used as a bank. The proposed new hotel will have 4 stories. Minimal alterations are being proposed for the exterior of the existing structure. These parcels are located in the Old Aiken Overlay District and are zoned downtown business. Additionally, the Farmers and Merchants Building located at 167 Lawrence Street Southwest was designated as a landmark on the Aiken Historic Register in 1995. Both the Farmers and Merchants Building at 167 Lawrence Street Southwest and the drive-through bank at 316 Park Avenue Southwest are listed as being constructed in 1911 according to the Aiken County Assessor's website. The Aiken Historic Resource Survey card lists the Farmers and Merchants Building as being constructed in 1911 and the Bank Welcome Center as being constructed circa 1912. This application also came before the board at the June 4th and December 5th work sessions. And I believe Mr. Scott is here as well.
Okay. You know, give us your name and address for the record.
Yes, I'm Cam Scott, and my address is 323 Society Hill Drive, Aiken. And we're working with Chad Ingram on proposing to add a 4-story addition to the west side of this property to house a 4-story hotel. And we'll have approximately 20 rooms per floor for a total of 80 rooms, and it's 4 stories in height. We're proposing to build a structure with brick veneer to match, be a painted brick veneer to match the existing bank building, since this project is renovating the existing building, but also using part of it to serve the hotel. So we're wanting the architecture style of this building to blend in with the existing style of the Farmers and Merchants Bank building. And so, as you can see, the elevations there, the lower parapet's height will be approximately 50 feet, and there in the center where it bumps up, it'll be approximately 54 feet, which will be under the city's guidelines for overall height. And so the ground floor will be, the second floor, finished floor will actually match the second floor of the existing building there. And so the first floor will have probably 10 to 11 foot ceilings. The floors, second, third floors will have probably 9.5 foot ceilings. And then the third floor, where we raise the height in the center, will probably have around 11 foot ceiling heights in those. Those rooms will have balconies that look out to the parkway on Park Avenue. And then the end wings, we have flanking end wings that will have balconies as well to look out to the parkway. So the existing entrance that goes to Chad's office and Merrill Lynch will be renovated with new windows and a new entrance, a new canopy awning to serve as the new hotel lobby. So the hotel lobby will be in the existing portion of the smaller addition there that was added on there. So that will serve as the lobby. The old Farmers and Merchants Bank entrance will serve as the future entrance for the restaurant. So the restaurant will have dining to mainly looking out to Lawrence Street, and then to the left of it, between the hotel lobby and the restaurant, will be a bar serving both the restaurant and the hotel. And so those plans are still being fleshed out, but what we're wanting to get approval from is the hotel itself. And as you see, we've got, the plan is to use, we're quoting Anderson Eagle E-Series windows, which is a clad window with simulated divided light, so it will give you the look of traditional divided light windows. We don't know yet the color we want to use. Right now, the existing color on the Farmers and Merchants Bank building is a sort of a dark medium blue. Whether we stay there, we're not sure, but it'll all to be dependent upon the windows, the Anderson Eagle windows. They have like 54 colors. We're looking to go with a darker color, maybe a dark green. We don't know yet exactly what color final decision will be on, but that's what we're looking to do. But it has gridded glass, mutton glass, and then we have the upper center balconies will have full arched windows and transoms above, and then the side wings and the middle wings will be segmental arched windows that will pick up on some of the arched windows that are on the Farmers and Merchants Banks. So we can't do full arches in those rooms because of the ceiling heights, but we will do full arches on the center windows facing Park Avenue on the fourth floor, and as well on the back elevation facing Hain Avenue back there. So also proposing canopies above these arched windows on the fourth floor, as well as canopies above the fourth floor windows on each end of each wing. We're proposing a canopy for the serve as the entrance to the hotel lobby there at the existing entrance. But that entire entrance will be reworked with tall glass windows with transoms, as well as new, probably mahogany doors coming into the lobby. One other element that Chad wanted to add is there's a recessed entry between the lower wing, existing wing, and the existing Farmers and Merchants Bank building. There's a recessed entry that we're proposing to fill in with a new chimney. He wants to have a fireplace that will be in the bar and hotel lobby area, and so that's what is shown between where the existing buildings step down. So that will be a new fireplace chimney, and so it will be housed in that little recessed entry. I don't know, Rebecca, if you have a picture of on that side. Yep. Let's see. Which one did I hit? Oh, there it is. Right here, you have a recessed entry right in here. That's where the old alley, used to be an old alley right here between these two buildings. These two buildings were separated at one time. And so this is where we're proposing to build a new chimney that'll have a fireplace. Chad does not like, gas burning fireplaces. He told me he wants a wood burning fireplace, and he's gonna have it. So I couldn't convince him at all. So he wants a wood burning fireplace. He's gonna get it. So what else? What else we got slide wise? Yeah, as you can see, yeah, here's a floor plan of the building. Here's existing bank building right here. This is where the existing alleyway used to be. It was filled in, and so here's where we're proposing to have this fireplace and the seating area right here. New bar right here. Here's the hotel lobby right in here. So it's all going to flow together and then flow on into the hotel right through here.
Thank you.
And I think we've got a perspective looking down. Here's what you wanted to see from the last work session. So this is looking from the roundabout Parkway fountain here, and here's the old entrance. This will be where we have the entrance to the restaurant. Here's where we'll have the entrance to the hotel lobby right here, and then here's the proposed 4-story hotel right in here. So scale-wise, we feel like the two blend together. We don't feel like this dominates too much the existing Farmers and Merchants Bank building. Plus, we have the diminishing perspective as you're going down Park Avenue. So we feel like the two blend together, and they're compatible. So all this building be working together. So that's why architecturally we want to see the architectural elements be similar.
Thank you. I'll ask, are there any questions from the board for Cam?
We have a rear elevation right here. Yeah. Similar to the front side right here. These are the fire stairs that we're locating at the back of the building. So this will be facing Haight Avenue and the parking lot area back behind here. That area is to be developed in terms of site planning. We haven't gotten there yet, but these are what's going on. These are the fire stairs right here. So we're using smaller windows. Didn't feel like the need to put too much glazing in those fire stairs. Feel like it also defines them. So, and then we're using the segmental arch windows here and here. Then we got a full arch doors and transoms right above here. So downside, we have these rooms right here just get a single window. So those are the lower price rooms. So.
And you, Cam, in the work session, because some of the people weren't in there, you talked about height comparison to the different areas around this building.
Correct. We've gone out and counted brick to try to determine the best we could on the heights. The old post office across the street, I've determined that it's about 32 feet to the balustrade on that post office. I don't know if you have a picture of that, Rebecca. Yep. We figured this is about 34 feet right here. And then my guess is the dome here is probably another 12 feet higher from this point up. So overall height here is probably about 44 to 46 feet tall here. Going back to the Farmers and Merchants Bank building, let's see. This height, go back, yeah. This height right here is 36 feet right here. Then it steps down to about 30 feet right here. The townhomes, Park Avenue townhomes, just down the street right here. Let's see, it's 34 feet to the top of the parapets. We don't have a picture of that, but I don't think you have one, Rebecca.
What's the edge of it?
Go back. Did you have it?
Right there.
Yep, right here. Okay, we do have a little bit. It's 34 feet tall right here, and then this is about 12 to 14 feet higher. So when you add those up, we're 46 feet probably to this point at the least, right here. And then I'm determined that the Axe building is about 28 feet tall right here. So going back to the elevations, Rebecca, well, I can say here, we're 50 feet right here, and we're 54 feet here. So from the top of the penthouse of the Park Avenue townhomes, we're only 2 feet higher right here. And then we'll be about 6 feet higher than the top of the penthouse. The roof right there. So those are comparisons of the heights around there. But I feel like as you're driving down Park Avenue, your perspective, even though this is taller, your perspective is this building is smaller as it's further away from you. So I feel like it doesn't dominate this entrance. This is, here's your main area right here. Here's your main entry for your restaurant. This is what everybody's used to seeing. And so as far as refurbishing, obviously Chad wants to reuse these windows and fix them up and repaint them. Probably going to put back a balcony that was right here. There was a little balcony here at one time. There is a balcony here that needs to be refurbished right here. All of this is, we're not really going to change much at all, other than just trying to bring it back to life and good maintenance. So, any other questions?
Yes, did you consider putting windows on the side of the building, of the addition? I know you've got rooms there, but yes.
We're
It's
actually we're proposing to put
Yeah.
a window at the end of the hallways right there to let light in here, and there'd be one down below here you can't see because of the traffic light. I mean, we could consider yeah, usually the hotel rooms have the TV, you have the TV wall, you have the desk, cadenzas, cabinets. So it's possible, but right now I feel like having these windows will help that facade right there. Whether we can put them on the west side, I don't know, because we're going to be, right now we're about 5 feet off the property line between us and the Axe building. So we're going to be we're having to fight fire code issues at that point. We might be able to do it with a fire shutter. Don't know yet. That's to be determined. So I would like to have them at the end of that hall, but being that close to the property line, we're going to just have to get with Mike Jordan and see what we can be allowed to do. But we do have that problem of fire separation between property lines. So.
Right.
I just had one question.
Yes, sir.
It's kind of a small one, but you indicate that there's going to be, the only signage I see is above the fourth floor in the center there and over the incorporated in the canopy.
Yeah, Chad and I have been going around about the sign and the fonts and all that stuff.
Yeah.
So that's just a placeholder right
Right.
now. It's just a placeholder. We don't even know. I don't know if we even know what the name will be, but that's just me throwing something up there. Obviously, we'll have to abide by the sign ordinance, and I quite frankly I hadn't looked at that in a while, and so I can say that more than likely we're going to have some signage here on the canopy here.
Right.
So whether we do something there, that's me throwing things up, to see what sticks.
Well, you're gonna be somewhat limited because there's not a place to put a monument sign or anything like that out there. Really.
Yeah, there's been talk about, do we put something on the chimney here? We don't know yet. I think that's something that may have to bring back to the board at some point. But we haven't given serious consideration yet to the signage.
But I think you put a lot of time and effort, and certainly it looks great. And I agree with you. As you're making that traffic circle, it flows so well. With you got your variations in height and that there, and
I think
look like you're having a lot of fun with this project. I think so.
Yeah, I am. All my meetings with Chad, I've been giving him a hard time. He's a meter. He likes to meet.
Thank you very much, Cam.
All right, thank you. Anything else?
Okay, any other comments from the board? Okay, I'll just ask a couple real quick. You talked about signage. You said you haven't decided yet, Cam, so I'm thinking that's going to be an administrative or some type of request later on that. You said you hadn't decided on the window color, so I'm thinking you'll bring that back also at a later time. And my question, I guess, on the window color is, are you planning on having the new windows and the old windows to match, so you'll paint the old windows to match the new window color?
That would be my recommendation.
Okay. All right. And you said you probably want to rebuild the balcony, but that's not part of this application either?
No, we do have,
Can you come back to the mic so that it can be picked up?
Yeah.
sorry. We actually have, Chad actually has an old picture, and I don't know if I shared it with you, Rebecca. I'm remiss in that, I'm sorry. But he has an old picture that has the balcony, and so our thoughts is we would build it back the way it was. And Chad, explain how you found this picture. Come up here and talk, Chad. You can come up here a second. Oh, okay. He has a great picture that was in a molded resin paperweight. Okay. And believe it or not, we took a picture with an iPhone, and you can see all the detail of this old bank building. And so we have the picture of the balconies and everything. Used to have a wood balustrade at the top of this bank building. Some people want to see us put that back, but that's serious consideration and money. So, but no, that's the only picture I've seen. The old picture of the bank building that's back from probably back in the 20s and 30s, somewhere in there. So.
Okay, and then of course the wall color. I didn't see where you specified a wall color as well.
Yeah, I mean it's.
I'll come back later.
Yeah, I think right now we're
more interested in the general concept. The
yeah, that's
approval.
really what we want to get approved here is the idea of what we want this 4-story hotel, and then we'll work through the details and come back as needed, whether it's administrative, whether we have to come back here.
All right.
This is the big concept that we're trying to get approved.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. We will open it up for public comment. Please come forward. And Linda, of course, give us your name and address.
Good evening, Okay, we turned this up. Good evening, Linda Johnson, 515 Parkside Drive. First of all, we all should applaud Chad Ingram's demonstrated interest in investing in downtown Aiken like this. Overall, it appears that the proposed hotel meets Aiken's design guidelines for the historic district. The changes to the existing historic buildings are so minimal. He really has kept them the way they are. And just a little bit of trivia, that lower section in the middle there, the second floor of that was where Eulalie Sally had her office. And she would recognize what he's doing here. The proposed addition complements the existing historic buildings, builds on Aiken's architectural details, really all flows together. With respect to the whole height issue, this might not work on a block where you had all one-story buildings, but on this block, in the context of this block, the height works. You've got the farmers and merchants on the corner, you've got the townhomes, everyone calls them the Ryberg townhomes on the far end that are high. You've got the post office across the street. There's also another 3-story, I don't know if it's townhomes or an individual residence directly across the street on Park. So in the context of this block, this 4-story addition works. So I hope that you're all seriously considering approving this. Thank you.
Anybody else? Opposed or in favor? Please step forward. And give us your name and address, please.
Tom Boykin, 111 Knox Avenue, Aiken. I just had a few concerns that I wanted the board to consider. I'm currently serving on the board of directors at ACTS. I'm the chair of the board of the building committee. We are concerned about several items. First of all, the parking lot, obviously it'll be taken from when they build this new facility. Where's the parking going to be for the 80 rooms, the restaurant, and the employees for the new facility? Where will they park? We currently use some of that parking lot for our operations. We understand that will go away, but we have employees, we have volunteers, church members that come and help. We serve a critical role in the county, providing food and other services to the needy, the less fortunate people in our county. We, our store is on the other side, the Haines Avenue side. We have customers that park there. We have volunteers. We have employees there. We're concerned about where all these people are going to park. Masters Week, 80 rooms filled up, restaurant filled up. What do we do? Where do we park? Where we have our people come and park, you know? So that's just something to keep in mind. I don't see that in the plan, and I'm not sure. It looks to me like there's 35 or 40 parking spots based on the plan that I see. So, where the building runs up to Axe, it doesn't show a setback. We currently, on the right-hand side of the building, our stormwater comes off the roof, comes down gutters, goes down to the ground, and then goes into that parking lot and drains out to the road. It appears in this plan that their building is going to be built right up to the Axe building. Is it going to join it? Is it going to be any kind of setback? How do we maintain our building? What happens to the stormwater? Those types of things need to be addressed. We need to make sure that we have access to the building and that we don't have a stormwater problem in our building. The biggest thing is that we just want to make sure that we can continue to operate and provide services to the less needy, and we need space to do that, and we need parking to do that. So please take that into consideration when you're deliberating these plans.
Thank you, Mr. Bork.
Thank you.
Yeah. Any questions for Mr. Bork? Cam, would you come back and address those concerns on the parking and the setback, please, Cam? Okay, go ahead. Do you have another comment?
No, that's
okay. That was it. Thank you. Thank you for your comments.
We are not building up to the Axe building. We are aware that there's roof flow comes off on the that's be the north side of their building, and technically it's probably draining on Chad's property. I don't know exactly where the property line is, but it appears that the Axe building is close to the property line between the two properties. So as I said earlier, we're going to be probably within 5 feet of that property line. So there will be a small alleyway going through there, and that we will probably, in the whole concept and the old site planning, we'll be picking up storm drains in that alleyway and taking their stormwater away. As far as the parking, yes, it's going to take away some of the parking where they serve their clients, but this is Chad's property too, and so.
But your parking will be in the rear for predominantly?
The hotel's parking will be in the rear of the property, facing between the hotel and Haines Avenue.
How many spaces will you have in the back?
That hasn't been determined yet as the final layout, but I don't know. How many do you have currently back there, Chad? Do you know?
I think we figured we could get about 62.
Okay. So around 62 spots in the back. Yep.
Yeah,
okay.
That's guessing right now.
I understand. We're just trying to answer the question. Thank you. Okay. Other public comments or questions? Okay. Seeing none, I will ask the board if we have a motion. Yep. Okay, please come up, Camp. Yeah. Yeah, Chad.
Chad Ingram, 807 Two Notch Road, Southeast. I cannot tell you how lucky we are to live in Aiken. Words don't suffice. The amount of support and encouragement I've received regarding this project has been overwhelming. It's filled me with a feeling of humble gratitude. And what we are presenting to you tonight is an all-Aiken project for an all-American city. Rob and I are lifelong Aikenites. Our architect is from Aiken. Our design team is from Aiken. The hotel and restaurant will be locally managed. Everything about this venture will be tempered with resolve to make Aiken a better place to live and experience. Thank you for your willingness to serve on this board, to give your time and energy to keep the charm of our city alive today and tomorrow. We hope you like this project as much as we do. Thank you.
Thank you for speaking. Okay. All right, now I will ask if we have a motion on this application.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'll make the motion if I could. In reference to application CERD 24-001088, we found that the application is consistent with the design review manual, specifically pages 81 and 85, and as presented, that we approve this application.
Do I hear a second?
I'll second that motion.
Well, let's have a discussion. What's your discussion point?
I just wanted to add that they're coming back with the site plan and,
Right.
answering some of the questions. This is a conceptual, approval.
So I don't know that I understood that it was a conceptual approval. Is that right?
I think she's asking about however they're going to lay out the parking lot and some of the questions you asked as far as, window colors and,
Yep. So the follow-on details will have to be resolved.
Yeah,
And I think what we need to do is, at that time, staff will have to decide if it's an administrative approval or a full board approval based on the nature of their request. Is that right?
yes, I'll use the matrix to do that.
Okay. So it could be that we're back voting again on those final design details.
Yeah.
Yep.
It's because, we haven't seen all the elevations and, at CAM's admission, they still have some things to work out.
Okay. All right. So, do we need to amend the motion for that? Or was that just a clarification?
Clarification.
Yeah. Okay. And we have a second from Michael?
Yes, sir, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. All right. Any other discussion before we vote of the board? Okay. Well, then I'll ask by a show of hands, all in favor with your right hand? Okay. Unanimous. Congratulations. All right. The motion is carried. Thank you both and everyone for their tireless efforts on this big project. Okay. Rebecca, if you will, keep us moving.
Does that mean that any other changes that they need to make to clarify, do they have to come back before design review again, or can it be done at the staff level?
It depends.
It depends on the change, is what we just said. Yeah, it depends on the change as to whether it could be administrative. If it's something minor, it could be administrative. If it's more of a major change, then we'll come before the full board. Yes, sir. Okay, next application, Rebecca.
Item F under new business, application number CERD 25-001039. Applicant Nick Tyndall is requesting approval to construct new single-family residence at 341 Orangeburg Street Southeast. Tax map parcel 121-10-14-005.
Okay.
The new home is proposed to have white hardy siding and trim, metal roofing, and brick veneer water table and steps. The proposed windows are 6/6 and 4/4 double hung windows with simulated divided lights from Anderson Windows and Doors. This property is located in the Old Aiken Overlay District and is zoned single family RS 15. The Aiken County Assessor's website lists the construction date of the structure as 1972. This property does not have an Aiken Historic Resource Survey card. As this property is located in the Old Aiken Overlay District and is not zoned downtown business, the demolition request for the existing structure qualified to be reviewed administratively. This request was approved in Certificate of Appropriateness number CERD 25-001038. However, the new construction request is required to receive a Certificate of Appropriateness approved by the Design Review Board at a regular meeting. And I believe Mr. Tyndall is here to answer questions.
Give us your name and address for the record, Mr. Tyndall.
Nick Tyndall, 29 Jackson Circle, Trenton, South Carolina.
What would you like to add to the overview that staff just gave?
The only thing that I noticed when Rebecca was reading it, I saw it earlier it says metal roofing, but I think that's just a typo because it's metal on the porches, but it's shingle roofing on the majority of the house.
Okay.
It was just in the description.
Yep, and I think that's what you had on your plans
Yes, sir.
also,
Yes, sir.
right? So it was okay. Thank you for that clarification.
Yes, sir.
And did you talk about the fact that the demolition was already approved?
Yes, I did.
You did? Okay, I'm sorry. Okay. Okay, board members, questions for Mr. Tyndall? Please.
One question I had, well, first of all, I'd like to say that I think this is a very contextual answer to and a great improvement to the non-contributing building that was there or is going to be demolished. I think the scale is right and the way it addresses the street, it has a porch, it's very welcoming looking. The one question I had was for the chimney that's on the outside. Could that be masonry? Because that is doing it in siding is very unusual for an older house. And, it really would appear to have great quality if it was, a masonry fireplace, especially because it's on the outside. The whole thing is on the outside.
Yeah, I mean, that structurally, it wouldn't really change anything for what we're doing. So, I mean, I just have to go over it with the customer and make sure they're fine with that, but I don't think it would be a problem.
Yeah.
Other questions or comments from the board?
That'd be a big improvement.
Yeah. Oh, it's pretty straightforward. Yep. Okay. Thank you, Mr. Tyndall. We will ask if there are comments from the audience in favor or opposed to this application. Anybody? Okay. Well, I will ask for a motion.
Mr. Chairman, can I make a motion on this application, sir?
Yes, sir.
All right, on application number CERD 25-001039, I move that the board find as the facts that the proposed project located at 341 Orangeburg Street Southeast, tax parcel number 121-10-14-005, is in harmony with our old Aiken design review guidelines, specifically 5.2 architectural guidelines for residential type buildings, new buildings found on page 109. That is evidenced by the hardy board, the masonry that is actually used, and also the overall design looks like an old house. I do agree with Miss Faith is get the masonry chimney, man. Throw some brick up there, the same brick that's on that on your foundation. It look real nice, but I don't have any other things to say
Is that
about
part
that.
of your motion that we require brick?
If it's okay with the customer, I would like to require a brick masonry chimney. That's not too much to ask.
Could I ask for a clarification on that, Mikhail?
Okay, the brick that's used, we ask that the brick that
My clarification is, are we asking for a brick facade on the chimney or a masonry chimney?
brick facade on the chimney, you can keep the same principles as in you designed it, but just make it appear to be brick. Masonry chimneys are, side note, can I talk about this, Chairman, for educational purposes? All right, masonry chimney, we know you build the house around the chimney, which can be very expensive. The architecture details did not display how you were building your chimney, whether it was just a look or not. So it would be continuous with the specific chimney that you have is wrapped in hardy right now. So instead of wrapping it in hardy, wrap it in masonry, just to give it that look.
Okay. That was a part of your motion, so do we have a second?
I second the motion.
Okay, second. Further discussion? Anybody? Okay. All right, well then, I will call for a vote. All those in favor? Okay. Any opposed? I don't see it. I think it was unanimous. Mr. Tyndall, when you speak with your homeowner, if there is an objection to the masonry chimney, you'll have to come back to not do a masonry chimney, okay? Masonry veneer, on the chimney. We'll let Rebecca decide if that's administrative or full board. I'm not gonna rule on that, but, I did want you to understand that because of the way we voted, it'll be require approval to do the siding like you originally requested, okay? Other than that, just as you submitted, landscaping, everything. All right, thank you very much.
Mr. Chair?
Yes.
If I could just clarify that the matrix does, I believe, permit chimneys to be done administratively, if that's okay with this board.
Y'all have any issues? Okay.
I have no issues.
Okay, all right, well, we'll
Okay.
we'll allow that to be administrative if you want to change it, but it still needs to be approved if you don't want masonry. Okay, all right. I think that's the end of our agenda, isn't it?
It is.
All right, so, any motions to adjourn?
I make a motion to adjourn this meeting, sir.
Second.
I think we got fifths on that. Thank you, everyone, for attending, and, meeting adjourned.
Great.